Tigray calls attention to refugees caught up in the Sudan conflict. Officials of the Tigray Interim Administration (TIA) have raised the alarm over concerns for the well-being of tens of thousands of refugees sheltering in Sudan as yet another conflict creeps towards camps located near the Ethiopian border. Over 80,000 people fled Tigray to seek refuge in Sudan during the two-year Northern War, and most of them have yet to return now. Their shelters and camps in Tenedba and Um-Rakuba are being threatened by the war gripping Sudan as violent conflict between the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) threatens to engulf the regions hosting the refugees. TIA President Getachew Reda has been vocal about the challenges faced by Tigrayan refugees in Sudan. On July 3, 2024, Getachew expressed deep concern over the unrelenting civil war and the increasing suffering of civilians on his social media accounts. He pointed out that the conflict has recently intensified, bringing the war dangerously close to the refugee camps in eastern Sudan, including Tenedba and Um-Rakuba. According to him, this proximity has heightened the urgency for relocation to ensure the safety of the refugees. While the humanitarian situation in those camps has always been dire, the growing proximity of the actual fighting to those areas has made it even more unsettling. It's also incumbent upon the government of the FDR to do whatever it takes to end the suffering of Ethiopian refugees, he said. The ongoing discussions have not yet produced results, but we continue to negotiate to integrate Sudan-based refugees into the current repatriation efforts, particularly those from western Tigray, said Getachew. Many of the refugees sheltering in Sudan have remained there for so long because of uncertainties arising over territorial disputes between the Tigray and Amhara regional governments. Nevertheless, reports state that there was a time when the Ethiopian government expressed concerns about the nature of the refugee population in Sudan. Some federal officials claim that among those who fled during the Tigray War are members of the TPLF-aligned militia group known as Samri. Reports suggest this group is suspected of involvement in the massacre at Makadra, where numerous civilians were killed. However, Getachew has denied these accusations, asserting that there were never as many armed groups present as claimed. There wasn't even that number of armed men who fled there, nor do I believe anyone would argue otherwise, Getachew told the reporter. After the second meeting, which succeeded the initial strategic review on March 11 in Addis Ababa, where both the federal government and the TPLF reaffirmed their dedication to the cessation of hostilities agreement (COHA) and committed to ongoing discussions, Getachew stressed on another exposed on July 10, 2024. The urgency of accelerating the return of IDPs in a manner that addresses the needs of those most affected, especially in western Tigray. The issue of refugee safety was a key topic during the second round of the Strategic Reflection meeting of the African Union O panel. Also raised during the meeting was the reinstatement of TPLF as well as the repatriation of Tigray refugees in Sudan currently facing the specter of senseless violence, reads his post. A recent report by Human Rights Watch HRW sheds light on the dire circumstances faced by refugees in eastern Sudan. The report underscores the imminent risks posed by the escalating conflict, emphasizing the need for immediate protective measures. HRW calls for concerted international efforts to address the humanitarian crisis and ensure the safety and well-being of the refugees. The rights group reported that Ethiopian authorities have allegedly established a committee to facilitate the return of refugees from Sudan to Ethiopia. However, refugees in camps require travel permits from Sudanese authorities. The report also highlighted calls to organizations and the international community to explore various forms of assistance, such as financial aid and transportation, to ensure the safe relocation of refugees away from any potential risks. The report states that many Ethiopian refugees in Gedaref's two camps and some in Kassala hesitate to return home due to ongoing concerns about violence or persecution. According to the report, the refugees primarily originate from Ethiopia's western Tigray zone and fled during a violent campaign targeting Tigrayans amid Ethiopia's two-year conflict. Ethio has urged all stakeholders to unite in supporting and protecting refugees, emphasizing the hosting country's responsibility to ensure their safety. He stressed the need for additional support to enhance refugee safety. It is evident that the host country bears the primary responsibility for refugee safety. Nevertheless, we seek additional support to ensure their protection. Ultimately, the goal is for all refugees to eventually return to their homeland, he told the reporter. More than a month ago, the federal government and TIA established June 30, 2024, as the deadline for fully implementing the Pretoria Agreement, marking a significant advancement since the peace accord was first signed 18 months ago.